Hello everybody, I'm Setharoner, and this is my guide to free games, the show where I go through a bunch of free games and see if they're good or not. And oh boy, do I got a good one for you guys today. Today we've got 5 games to go over, ranging from solving mysteries, from a serial killer, having a nice meal with your new neighbor, and whatever this is. Why do our feet have so much detail? Anyway, let's move on to the first game. The first game we have on our list today is called Palm Cracker. Palm Cracker is a point-and-click puzzle game focusing around the world of puzzles, specifically ciphers. For those of you who don't know, I graduated with a degree in computer science, and one of the classes I did best in was cryptography. Never mind the fact that the teacher had no clue what she was doing, and COVID happened in the middle of the semester, causing her to ghost the entire class before giving everyone an A. The point is I know ciphers, at least the concept of them, and this game did a pretty good job at using them. You play as a detective who is given a mysterious phone claiming to be from the dreaded Crypt Killer. If you could solve all the riddles in his phone, he will give you his identity. So the gameplay is mostly just going through some creepy dude's phone who's weirdly obsessed with Princess Diana and solving all his little puzzles. I don't have a lot to say about this game. The puzzles were neat, and the developer did a good job teaching you about ciphers if you didn't already know about them. So if you have an hour or two to kill and want to deep dive into a serial killer's phone to learn about different codes and techniques about ciphers, check this game out. I know I don't have a whole lot to say about this game compared to other games later in the video, and that's mostly because I don't want to spoil a lot of the puzzles, just in case someone wants to play the game. Again, this game is a puzzle game, and it's somewhat short. So if you're looking for a game that will keep you coming back and has a bunch of value, this might not be your game. But if you want to sit down for an hour with a pen and paper and solve a mystery, click the link below and download the game on Steam. If it's more of an action game and replayability you're after, check out this next game, Midnight at the Disco. Midnight at the Disco is an action roguelike bullet hell game where you play as a groovy dude trying to survive as a bunch of weird alien eyeball monsters try to take you and all your dancing girlfriends out of the picture. Like I said, it's a roguelike twin-stick shooter with lots of bullets to dodge, meaning you get thrown into the dance floor and are just told to survive, and you gotta collect as many points as possible as you can. Side note, the game does have an online leaderboard if you're the competitive type as well, but as you kill monsters, collect records, and save dancing ladies, you gain XP and level up, giving you access to a choice of power-ups. Now don't get me wrong, from what I've seen, the power-ups are unique, but I found myself only seeing a select few in the beginning over and over again, so I'm not sure if there's just that little of them or if I was just getting really bad luck. Because from what I've seen online, it looks like there were more than what I've seen, so maybe you have to unlock them and I just didn't figure out how, or I just had bad luck like I was saying. Either way, the ones that I did see were quite unique and could drastically change your playstyle from moment to moment. From passives that just randomly strike down enemies, to little buddies that follow you around and shoot enemies with you, to making yourself immune to specific damage types, you could really play this game for a few hours and have a completely different playstyle every single time. The gameplay overall was quite fun once I finally got used to it. I will say, however, I wish there were a few things that they did, like allowing you to level up more. In the later stages that I've gotten to, I found myself picking up massive amounts of XP and just waiting for what felt like forever. And then when you finally do level up, it kind of feels like the power-ups don't scale like the enemies do, or at least not as well as I kind of wish it did. I'm sure this is due to balancing reasons and the online leaderboard, but part of me just wants to get that power fantasy of like leveling up a bunch and just seeing lasers fly all across the screen. The music itself is pretty amazing, I didn't get bored of it, and there is an unlockable game mode too, that, to be honest, wasn't super impressive to me. You get locked into a section of the map, and well, that's pretty much all that's new about the new game mode. It does pick up the pace, being locked into a smaller corridor, however, I kind of just felt like Obi-Wan in The Phantom Menace, waiting for my turn to go fight a monster locked on the other side of a wall. However, I did enjoy it, and if you're into games like Brotato, Hades, or Binding of Isaac, try this game out. Out of all the games that I played today, this game actually surprised me most, because I actually really wanted to come back and play it more. So if that interests you, check it out. The download's in the description. Maybe you're into some good old-fashioned simulator games. Well, let's talk about the next game on the list, Happy Furry Restaurant. A casual cooking simulator game with a darker twist. Overall, the game's pretty simple. You're a panda that has dreams of becoming the best chef in the forest and opens his own restaurant to serve the denizens of the forest. You start, and most of the animals of the forest just want their classic veggies or soups, easy enough to make them happy. A little bit of forced labor later, and orders up. Overall, the gameplay is extremely simple. Just mash the buttons and make the food, deliver it when the customer wants it. The game overall is not difficult. At the end of every day, you can purchase upgrades for your food, which to be honest, felt like it did nothing due to the game's easy nature. The dark twist I was talking about comes later on day 2, when you start getting customers that want meat. Unlike soup and salad, you don't have the ingredients on hand, and there's only one way to make meat-eating customers happy. That's right, the game quickly turns into a kidnapping and stealth game on top of everything else. Again, it doesn't make it a lot more difficult. You just have to make sure that no other animals are looking when you need to, collect. Anyway, you continue doing this for the next few days while upgrading your restaurant and getting collectively more busy, making it a little bit more difficult to collect meat without getting caught. You do this for a few days before run-in with the police happens, and well, the game definitely changes a lot. I don't want to spoil too much of the ending, as I feel like I've already given a lot of the game away already. So if you're interested in the game, you can check it out down in the description below. The link is right there to download it. I personally wouldn't recommend this to a friend. It kind of felt like a big tech demo or just someone experimenting and figuring out what they could do with game development, to be honest. Like I said, it was really short and a lot of the mechanics felt really underdeveloped. But if you got nothing else better to do, you can check this game out. You got free will. You can do what you want. The next game on the list is here, knocking on the door. Oh, yay. It's discussion over dinner. A text-based 3D horror game, my favorite. I'm not gonna lie, it's really hard to convey this type of game in this type of video format. It's hard to describe how unnerving this game really is without playing it. In the game, you play as a poor soul who moved into a new house next to this specimen. Jesus, criminy crikey, mate. His name is Theo. Theo would like you to come over to his house and to have a chat and dinner. If you refuse, he, forever naps you in, a very creepy way. If you choose to accept and go over to his house, you get to learn more about him and the neighborhood. The gameplay is actually pretty unique. It's kind of an old typing game, but you have to quickly read the prompts on screen and make a sentence out of it. Of course, Theo hates people that mix up words and stutter, so you better be perfect around him. Or else. Oh, Jesus! Since the game and gameplay is based off of having a discussion over dinner, you have to talk to him while gently nibbling on the steak Theo made you, all while dealing with Theo's rat problem. Now, I'm gonna be real with you. Unlike the last game, this game is actually very difficult. Not only due to the stress of it all, but there's just a lot you actually have to keep track of while playing. Not only do you have to listen to, look at, and respond to Theo, you also have to look away from him to deal with a bunch of other scary noises, make sure you're eating your steak, but not too fast and not too slow, and you also have to deal with a constant barrage of rats trying to eat Theo's steak that he made for you. Like I said, there's a lot you have to keep track of, and a lot of looking around you have to do, which kind of distracts you from looking at the main threat in front of you, which is Theo. All that being said, I'm surprised this game hasn't blown up at all. It feels like a type of game that Markiplier would do a video on, or Game Theory would make at least one episode on, if not more. While it is difficult, it is pretty rewarding and very well put together. Like I said, it's pretty hard to convey how unnerving this game really is. The sound design is great, from the creepy creaks to the bangs of Theo's house, the music in the background turning on and off, glitching out, the somehow off Animal Crossing voices. The whole experience just feels weird from the beginning. So if you want to try this game out and figure out the secrets that are hidden in Theo's basement, or just want to survive it, check this game out. Link in the description. Any at-risk gooners? Now is your time to leave.
Exilium!
We got a waifu collector next. Girls Frontline 2 is a 3D strategy anime RPG with gameplay ranging from being a creep to XCOM-type tactical battles. In the game, you play as the Commander, a person with an army of hyper-realistic robot military girls that the game dubs as dolls, who definitely do not give off any fan service at all. Nope, none. Jesus criminy crikey, I'm gonna get age restricted if I keep showing these clips. Anyway, let's start off with the start of the game, the story. It actually seems pretty good. especially considering that this is a gacha mobile game. If you guys have seen past episodes of my game guides, you know my views on mobile games on the PC, but this somehow gets a pass. Don't get me wrong, it definitely feels like a mobile game the second you go into the shop or one of the many passes available for purchase or just daily passes that you have to grind out. But the overall quality of the gameplay, voice acting, and well-animated cutscenes makes it feel like it's playable for the computer. Speaking of mobile games, I did play this on my phone off and on just to test it out, and was happy to learn that the game is cross-save, so you can bounce from platform to platform if you want to. While playing through the story, I found myself quite surprised at the gameplay itself. Like I said, it reminds me a lot of XCOM, where it's a turn-based tactical chess type game. You can move your dolls to specific spots before using an ability. The movement and depth of the dolls depends on all their playstyles, from snipers who can't move that far but have a large ranged attack, to people who can move extremely far but use swords, so they have to be standing right next to someone to attack them. Learning about cover, flanking, and just having to use general strategy to outdo your opponents. The combat is more in depth than I thought it would be, but it's not as in-depth as other games in the same genre. We'll get into more of that a little bit later. The game also has a bunch of different modes that seem to come and go as well, some of which I found to be a pleasant break from the story and daily missions. These range from stealth minigames to a third-person shooter, and overall I was pleasantly surprised. I will say, however, sometimes navigating through the menus to find all these different minigames is very, very difficult. Sometimes I was like, oh, I somehow got to this one thing, but I don't remember how I got there. So maybe this is just me being inexperienced with these types of games, but personally, I found the UI to be extremely clunky and confusing at points. There is a bunch to do in this game, from dailies to passive missions to collecting lore to doing whatever the heck this is. We don't talk about the dorm system here. Overall, the gameplay of the actual battles seemed fine. However, that does lead me to say I'm conflicted about the auto battler feature. While it's overall a good feature for quality of life and this type of game, I do think it does ruin part of the game for me. I get it, almost all of these types of games have it, and it really does make sense for this type of game. However, I think it's used to cover up some things that a lot of this type of game does. The gameplay just gets boring after 3 to 5 runs fighting the same few monsters in different but similar maps. Like I was kind of saying, it is in depth, but it just lacks something to make it actually latch on to me. And since you want to get through to, let's be honest, the real part of the game, collecting and power scaling your harem of dolls, most people will just go screw it and let the game play for itself, which is why I think I actually enjoyed my time on this game more on my phone. The gameplay does a really good job of getting half of your attention. It's not something you actively need to focus on, making it perfect to have on the background while you're watching a somewhat boring TV show. That's not saying the auto battler is perfect in any means, and by that I mean it's pretty stupid, spamming all of your best attacks, straight up ignoring game mechanics, and not always going after the main objective makes it so if you rely too heavily on the auto battler, you'll probably end up wasting a bunch of time by smashing your head into a brick wall. That being said, if you do want to play this game and you notice the auto battler is being stupid, turn it off and actually play the game. The game is actually pretty fun when the difficulty is actually there. So that's kind of why I'm conflicted about the auto battler. I get why they have it, it's to get through things that are kind of boring quickly, but at the same time, I'd just rather not have the boring things in the game. Anyway, I kind of mentioned this earlier, but let's get on to the real part of the gameplay, the girls. There are a lot of them, with a bunch of different personalities and playstyles. All the girls have their own unique personalities and quirky animations on level up or power-ups, and it's very clear to me that this is what the developers put most of their time into. As I mentioned, this is a gacha game, so you better hope you got good luck in order to get your girl. As you can probably tell by the review so far, I don't play a lot of these gacha games, but I will say that I did seem to pull a lot of girls pretty often, so I feel like it's not super unfair in that aspect. I don't really have a lot to compare it to, as I haven't played a lot of these types of games, but there haven't been long stretches where I feel like I haven't gotten anything good. Upgrading your girls is actually pretty fun. If you're a player like me who loves watching numbers go up, this does get the dopamine flowing. I will say it's quite tedious to upgrade your girls as guns, but I feel like that type of system is in a lot of these types of gacha games, so if you're used to it, you're used to it. Other than that, if you played these types of games before, I feel like this one is actually pretty high quality in my experience. Sure, you could drop $300 on items and skins, skins if you're wanting to goon out, or you could be like me who just logs in every once in a while to do some dailies until I get bored. I know it might sound like I'm giving this game a hard time, but overall I did enjoy it and might play this game on my phone from time to time if I want to kill some time. I don't see myself sticking around with this game long term, but it was fun while it lasted. If this sounds like your type of game, or you want to check out what the heck is up with the dorm feature that I shall not speak about, the developers love feet! Check out the game, links in the description. And there you have it, 5 games that you could play on Steam for free right now. What do you guys think of those games? Have you played any of them? Let me know down in the comments below. Also, let me know what free games you're playing so I could check them out and make another video on this. Otherwise, I hope you guys liked it. If you did, make sure you like and subscribe, as it really does help out the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!